So when Jesus said, "I'm the light of the world" in John 8, and then caused such a rumpus amongst the Jewish leaders, it's because it was such a huge claim, and that was my justification for pulling in lots of ideas of light from everywhere else. And partly that's because Jesus was claiming that the first word of creation, "Let there be light," was reflected in him, and of course that means that it's not surprising, therefore, that light demonstrates so much of the character of God in all sorts of ways. And as we looked at that yesterday, in terms of the artist and the engineer and the lamplighter and the lighthouse and all of that stuff, that all depicts something of the character and life of God, because God's first expression was light, and that ties in scientifically for the physicists and in all sorts of other ways. So maybe you can think about that for a bit as well. But of course that would have annoyed them. The other thing that it did was when Isaiah had called the people to be a light to the nations, and Jesus said, "I'm a light for the world. I'm a light to the world." And so that whole thing around the destiny of Israel that patently failed, because they were a country that had been invaded and weren't a light to anybody at the time because they were so under the cosh of the Romans. But Jesus makes this huge claim: "I am the light for the world," and so it's no wonder that they picked up stones to stone him. And then he gets through that, and then he heals the blind man, and then he says it again just to wind everybody up. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then, well, not and then, but in another gospel, in Matthew's gospel, "You are the light of the world," and the idea that the lamp is on a pillar, not under a bucket, and that we shine as stars in the universe, Peter says, and then together a city set on a hill. We've talked about that before, but it might be good to revisit that. But I think as you look at the light, and maybe some other scriptures from that as well, that you will find that there's so much energy and life and joy in the presence of Jesus, the light of the world, and that you can enjoy and appreciate that tonight more and more. I say tonight, some of you meeting in the day. During this session, more and more. Have a great time as you talk about this stuff, and may God bless you as you just dwell in the light. You might want to think about that as well. What does it mean to be open, honest, and real with each other? Okay, bless you. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.